clear the air. So welcome to Spoon Talk, man.
Thank you, guys. First of all, there are a lot of things happening in the country. Of all the things that are happening in the country, this very big platform chooses to discuss Joe Boakai flying in a private jet. To be honest, I'm a little disappointed.
You
But
cannot be disappointed because we get lists of stuff that we are discussing.
yeah,
But the first, no, Harry Costa. It's
but
okay to be
because you,
disappointed. The
but
first
because you,
conversation here is it's his private jet. So,
but because you've raised it, so I will speak to it.
mhm.
The trip was planned. I was actually supposed to be on the trip, but the reason I didn't make the trip is because of my impending trip to Liberia. So I could not go to Nigeria, come back to the States, and then go to Liberia on December 30th. That's why I did not make the trip. It was a carefully planned trip. It took a long time to plan this trip. We all know JMB doesn't travel quite a lot. He doesn't believe in unnecessary travels. And we also know for a fact that JMB is not a wealthy man. And he is not ashamed to say that. JMB cannot afford, and I will say this, and JMB takes pride in the fact that he's not a wealthy man because he didn't steal from government. JMB flew out of Liberia on a commercial flight. He flew out of Liberia on a commercial flight and got to Nigeria, to Lagos, Mohammed Murtala Airport. And in Nigeria, he's done a series of very high profile meetings. Many of the people he's met with are people he already knows, people he cultivated relationships with during his years in public service. Some of the, Nigerians are very wealthy people, private Nigerian citizens, not government officials, very wealthy. Some of their friends decided that, look, you're in Nigeria, you're our guest, you're coming to us, let me send a private jet to pick you up. Was JNB supposed to say, no, don't send me a private jet to pick me up?
You don't have right to use support to that word.
Mr. Fahngon, please let me speak. When you were speaking,
don't you say well, asking me, my man.
When you were speaking, I did not speak. So JNB also appeared on the most listened to, most followed Nigerian TV show, The Morning Show. I have excerpts of the interview he did. Fantastic interview. I was very impressed with how much the Nigerian hosts of the show know about how incompetent and good for nothing the We Are government is, because the way they discuss the issues, I was very impressed. They're very knowledgeable. And so Joseph Boakai did not rent a private jet. These jets go for like $10,000 to $15,000 per hour, my man. That's a lot of money. JMB gets $800 from the government a month, and 35,000 Liberian dollars as pension. And he's a man of very modest means, and he does not make any apologies for that. He is ashamed of that. And anybody to try to make it look like he's committed a crime is ridiculous.
We're on the man internet. All right, maybe he will come back. Let me say this. Fahngon. Dr. Richardson, Keff Hassan, Sentumani George, Mariah. Keff, go ahead. Go ahead. Maybe
something. JMB has been doing business with those business guys when you were in office. He said it. He said he know that. That his friends. He need to explain that part. So
let me finish. We'll ask the question. Go ahead.
This man who is a poor, but you have rich business guy who JB has been doing business with since he was in office.
Kev, let's stay with the issue with him.
Yeah, hold on 1 minute. Costa, go ahead. Go ahead, Costa.
Stanton Weatherspoon. If you're going to sit on your show and allow Keff, who knows nothing about Liberia, JMB has no business partners in Nigeria. JMB runs no company that he has business partners in Nigeria. You have to fact check your people standard. You can't let Keff sit down there and say people who he's been doing business with. Where does Keff know that from? You have to challenge your people to give you facts. This is a very powerful platform.
Kev, listen.
I am a talk show host myself.
Hold on 1 minute. We have time to ask Costa a question because a lot of questions we must ask. But you will give the man a chance to explain how we got to this private jet, please. Costa, please continue.
This is a very big platform. You can't have people spewing lies, concocted fallacies. JMB does not own a company. He does not have business partners in Nigeria. JMB does not have money. And we are not ashamed of that. So for anybody to make it look like, oh, he got business partners. Kev, you sit on there, your president took $1.5 million and left the country for 48 days. You are the last person that should be talking about somebody flying on a private jet. And you Fahngon, you are lying. 2017, when George Weah flew the OO planes, we never made an issue of it. Because those planes were just too old and it was embarrassing to even make an issue of it. So it is not true. You mentioned that Henry Costa, particularly said Weah was wrong. Why would I be lying? I mean, they're talking about Weah flying a Cessna, a 1902 Cessna plane. Our word for Weah flying no plane. No plane number 200. So you are wrong. I just scared for Weah. So stand up for that school. The plane Joe Boakai flew in. If I had made a trip, I would have been on that plane too. And you think I would have fly?
So Pedro, I know you're in the car. Probably you're going somewhere, coming home. We have to ask you some questions before you leave.
No problem.
Yes, let me give Fahngon a chance to go first. Fahngon.
Well, I'm not going to ask Pedro.
Make a comment. I'm just giving you the time.
Yeah. The first thing, Joe Boakai making $800 a month and 35,000 LD a month, as pronounced by you or announced by you here. You were joking with the Liberian people. Who passed it into law? It was the same Joe Boakai. It was his government because he thought he would have been president. That's point number one. George Weah did not pay him that. He offered to pay himself that before he left office. Point number two, you said that his wealthy friends told him in Nigeria, fly a private jet and come over to us. You are telling us, but you forget to know you run behind him for a sling car that his son bought for him. You talk about his sneakers that he wear on his foot. You go to the point where George Weah went to eat over there or there, and you think you're going to sit on this platform and tell Liberian people they don't have the right to ask who sent the jet and why they send the jet? Really? Is that the country you want to run tomorrow?
Is that your question, Fahngon?
His sneakers. You question it. But
is that your question?
No. I'm not going to give you a question. We're facing each other. You have your time to talk. I told you not to use my word Sopoto, S-O-P-O-T-O. You said I'm going to give you a chance. So give me a chance. You have been the one checkmating this president every day. And now today, the Liberian people wants you to tell them, we accept your story about him going to Mohammed Murtala. But you said to the Liberian people, his friends. And you forgot to know, when George Weah played soccer, he was the world's best. He was European best. He was 3 times Africa best. He was the friends of the Prince of Monaco, the Prime Minister of Italy, Berlusconi, the President of South Africa, Mandela. Should I continue? He had friends too. But you beat on him. Now your old man goes, and a friend sent a jet. My dear brother, what Liberia wants to know from you today, right now, who sent the private jet for JMB at Mohammed Murtala Airport, and why? And why? Who and why? If you can't don't waste our time.
So let's get Pedro the time to talk. Go ahead, Costa.
Who and why? Then we have a debate.
Eugene Fahngon, it looks like you don't have anything serious to talk about. We're not going to tell you who sent the plane for Joe Boakai. Hold on, man. Don't interrupt me. I can be louder than you. I can be louder than you.
But get Costa the chance now, Fahngon.
Show some decorum here, man. I'm not going to be antagonistic with you. Show some decorum here.
Fagon.
What gonna be there?
You told him not to interrupt, so give him the time. Let him answer you, please.
We will not be telling you who sent the private jet for Joe Boakai.
Okay.
That's one. Point number two, George Weah is president of the Republic. When he flies private jets at our expense, we have the right to talk about it. When somebody sends a private jet to pick Joe Boakai up in Nigeria, it is not the same issue. You are talking apple and oranges here. One person is using a friend's private jet as a private citizen, which is what Joe Boakai is. George Weah is the president of the Republic using our money to fly a private jet. When he couldn't even buy you a good car, you were deputy minister, you drove an old smoky car, you said it yourself, but he was flying a private jet. So that's what you should be concerned about. So there's no issue here. It's none of your business whose private jet Joe Boakai flies, because he's not your president, and you're probably not even going to vote for him to be president, and he will be president.
But you need to tell the Liberian people that I'm a Liberian. What do you
I don't care about you. We're not going to tell you. Stanton, can we ask the next? Can I take the next question, please?
No, you finish talking. I got to come to
I'm done with Fagon.
Hold on 1 minute. Hold on. We'll get Fagon. Listen, we do have 2 questions each. Hold on, Fagon. We do have 2 questions or 2 comments we have to make if we have any. So let's give Fagon his second choice, please. Fagon, go ahead.
You see, this is the level of hypocrisy and arrogance with which these people come that keeps us where we are sitting today. We cannot move. When a person look at you and tell you, as a Liberian citizen with a voting card, that are all you no explanation of who sent the jet and why, and that you are unserious, you are telling over 100,000 Liberian citizens that they do not have the right to know who sent the jet and why. And let me correct Henry Costa here publicly when he says this president is riding private jet. I started the debate by saying before he became president, the tapes will be available for you to listen to. How these guys were angry about people trying to interfere and influence the results of our elections by supporting George Weah. And at that stage, he said the man is a president. Well, let me tell you who Joe Boakai is. Maybe Joe Boakai have not told you. He is a candidate for president. And that is why we are entitled to information in order to help us make informed decisions. You cannot sit here and say, for us to discuss Joe Boakai issue means we are unserious. If you cannot tell us who sent the jet and why, I think you're far more unserious than the Liberian people. Because at the end of the day, if you say you don't owe us any explanation, then shut down your platform. Because in closing, I will say this to you. You are now saying that George Weah is president. Who is Joseph Boakai? Is he not candidate for president? You think we're going to elect pig in the bag? That's a joke, my friend.
Thank you for submitting, Honorable Fagon. Let's move on to whosoever have question or want to make comment while Costa is on the show. Do we have anyone? You want to come in?
Yeah,
Keff, come in, please.
Yeah, let me just write on what Fagon is saying. I don't think we're talking about now, because what Costa trying to put in the ears of the Liberian people now, but the campaign against this president before on the same thing they are doing now. That's why we're asking the question. So again, let me go back to what Costa talking about friends. He said friends while he was in office, not friends before he was in office. You're telling me a Liberian man in office get a business friend? I can tell you the reason George Manuel Weah become friends with Berlusconi because he played for AC Milan. Berlusconi was president of AC Milan, president of Italy.
Berlusconi. Don't chop up the man's name.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not Italian.
Neither am I, but I know the man's name. Silvio Berlusconi.
But don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. So
I'm correcting you.
Yeah, I can tell you. I can tell you why he become friends. But tell us why JMB become friends with business people.
Look at the kind of chatted question. Why people become friends with people?
Listen. Why he's in office?
Send them, man. I tired, man. I want go, man.
No, you can't go, man. You can't go.
This kind of question here too ridiculous for my comfort. JMB was telling you why he became friends with your friends.
But hold on, let the man finish, my man. Hold on, man.
When I talk about business, you say no. He says the lie. He said that his friend.
But Kev, there is a businessman on the trip bending our euros, so add that one in.
Exactly. So how can you be
from Nigeria and South Africa?
But Kev, can I ask two quick questions, real quick, Kev, and maybe it will help.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Maybe it will help. Let me ask Costa a question. So let's get back on track. I'm not doing George Manaway at time when he was running. No, I'm talking about now, Costa. If you tell Fahngon, we are not the one to tell you who made available the private jet. Don't you think you owe it to the Liberian people as to while we are speaking about Kennedy Joseph Yima Boakai, and we're talking about transparency, we're talking about information that will help, because Joseph Yima Boakai, he doesn't have money. He levy on $800 a month as retirement, 35,000 labor take from the government. Now, folks seeing him in private jet. Costa, what don't you think that message out there is kind of too bad? Now, I'm going to tie this to the
bad house. Stand up. Bad house.
No, let me finish.
Bad house.
But because we tire.
How is it bad?
I'm going to tell you, Costa. Hold on 1 minute. I'm going to tell you. Folks are saying that the country is so jammed, it's bad off. We tire suffering rally coming on the 17th. You, Costa, said nobody should attend the rally. I'm not attending the rally. This is not opposition. This is ANC projection. We hear you saying that. The quiet old man, JMB, former vice president in a private jet. Don't you think the optic is bad?
There's nothing wrong with the optic. Stanton, you are trying to squeeze water out of rock where there's none. It's impossible. JMB did not charter a private jet. He cannot afford to charter a private jet. Until JMB becomes president, he is a private citizen. Even in this country, when candidates are running for office in the United States, they can use their friends' private jets until they are elected, then they must pay. Listen to me,
Costa, let me interrupt you.
You asked the question.
Costa, let me add this to that. Then it will help you. JMB now is a private citizen. 5 years back, he wasn't. He was a VP. He was
so what? So what is the point?
My point is that he was vice president. He
so what?
You're out there. You said that he knew these people while serving as vice president.
Exactly.
If that is the case, are we rewinding this whole quid pro quo, the whole pay to play coming in again?
Thank you. See,
I want to give you the chance to explain. If those folks are his friends, they are giving him private jet today. Imagine when he's president tomorrow, and they offer private jet. No, but I want you to explain this. So it's very important for me. It's very important, Costa. They were his friend when he was, vice president.
They were his friends.
They are still his friends. They are offering private jet. He's going to those meetings. Who arranged the meeting?
That's my point. Yeah.
Did they call you and say, we've been knowing you, we will give you private jet if you come to Nigeria? Don't you think it's bad with everything that we've been beating Joe we are on? That is former vice president now accepting private jet from his former
Can you
friend?
Imagine that, Stanton? Are you listening to yourself? Are you listening to yourself, Stanton?
I listen to you, Costa.
Are you listening? let me tell you something, guys. I don't think you guys have anything important to discuss here today. That's why you brought up this topic, because Stanton, I have told you over and over, JMB is not the president of the republic. When he is the president in 2024, he will not, by law, be allowed to fly on somebody's private jet that the government of Liberia does not pay for. And he will not even fly on private jet. He will fly. It was not even JMB's idea. Joseph Boakai got. Joseph Boakai, listen to me, Stanton. Don't interrupt me, please. Joseph Boakai arrived in Nigeria. His Nigerian friend said, "Look, Joe, we're glad to have you here. You are in Lagos. I'm in this. Can you? I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you. It's none of your business. Stanton, can you please control your co-host and allow me to speak here?
But let me answer my question.
I am not going to tell you that. I mean, why a Nigerian friend? The next thing you ask me, what kind of food you ate in Nigeria? All that irrelevant nonsense. Why did you eat it all today? Why a girlfriend? Why a girlfriend? Why a girlfriend? Oh, you asked me what my own. What kind of nonsense is that? You back on you women. Stanton, let me. Oh, I'm gonna call my own name. Let me answer your question. Stanton, Joseph Boakai got to Nigeria. These friends of his are very excited to see him. He's doing interviews. He's meeting people. He's talking about Liberia, trying to find opportunities for Liberia, and they offer to pick him up in their private jet. So there is no law against it. He's a private citizen until he becomes president. When he becomes president, Joseph Boakai will not even be flying in a private jet.
You remember when you said the poison in the Kojolobo tea? Was just
Eugene Fahngon, give me a chance. No, this situation, there is absolutely nothing here to be talking about, guys. Joseph Boakai will get back in that jet. If somebody else offers the jet, he will get back in the jet.
So let's clear this in real quick. Joseph Boakai didn't pay for private jet, correct?
No, he can't. Joseph Boakai cannot afford to pay for private jet.
Joseph Boakai took the private jet while he was. Oh, guys, let me ask my quick question.
It is none of your business.
Joseph Boakai took the private jet while he was in Nigeria, correct? There is no private jet. The private jet didn't take him from RIA to Nigeria.
No, it did not. No, okay. It picked him up within Nigeria to another state in Nigeria for a meeting.
What was
the particular individual he was going to meet for that particular meeting is the one I said, "Look, Joe, don't get on commercial. Let me send the jet to pick you up." And the jet picked him up and took him to the meeting. He's not flying private jet all over Nigeria. I'm not going to tell you. It's none of your business.
Costa, the private jetting was only the one trip. But hold on now, Eugene Fahngon. Costa, so the private jetting was just only a one-time thing, or he's on the private jet throughout Nigeria?
No, just for one particular meeting. Particular meeting he went to, the person he was going to meet insisted that he should fly on the private jet because he was going to buy tickets to fly on a commercial airline. He said, "No, Joe, the plane is available. Let me send the plane for you." And the plane was like somebody is coming to visit you, and the person doesn't have a car. And you say, "Look, let me send my driver to pick you up." We do that in Liberia all the time. But for these Nigerians, they are rich businessmen. They're private citizens. He said, "No, Joe." Hey, my man, let me.
Dr. Richardson, you have questions?
Wait, man.
Dr. Richardson,
just making noise.
Do you have questions, Sentimony George? Do you want to say something before Costa leave?
No, I'm fine.
Pedro Costa, I mean, what beautiful. Man, why I have you before you leave, though? Why are you telling your folks? Why are you telling your folks not to attend the December 17th rally? I want to ask you the question openly. You're telling them you will not attend, they shouldn't attend. Why?
For so many reasons, Stanton. And I've already said them publicly. I don't think I want to go into them again on this show. If you want me to go into them, I will indulge you. Number one, I don't do rallies. I do protests. The COP doesn't do rallies. We do protests. Number two, when we protest, we don't pay the government to use the space. We don't. We tell them what we want, where we want to use, and we dictate and insist. Number 3, I don't follow a political party to do a rally under their banner. I'm the chairman of the COP that has organized and held the largest peaceful protest in the republic. So I don't go and to honor a political party's banner. I don't do that. I have nothing against the folks that are organizing their rally, but I'm just not going to support them because a political party doing a rally, I'm in a different party. You are against me. You are looking for attention. You're looking for momentum. You do your rally. You have your right. Go do your rally. I'm not against the rally. I'm just not going there. And I told my supporters not to go there. So it is as simple as that. Louis Brown and all the people in the ANC, I have nothing against them. They have the right to do their rally. I don't do rallies, Santo. I do protest. The whole country knows that. The whole world knows that. I don't do rallies. What am I going to do rally for? To go gather in one little space and be chanting party slogans? I protest, Santo. That's what I do. So my people, those of them who believe in me, we're not going to be participating. I have asked them to stay away. I supported Soup when Soup did the protest. It was a protest. We raised money for the young man that was injured, who is one of my supporters. We provided the first $300 for his medical expenses. We support protests all the time. We don't participate in rallies. We are brave and courageous. We go and we protest. And we don't pay government money. You say you're tired of suffering and you're paying $2,000 US the government to use space to rally? You really tired of suffering? You can't tell that money, you go to orphanages and give it to the people there? You're not tired of suffering. Somebody who tired of suffering get $2,000 US? So I beg you, man.
Senator Sir Joe said today, Eugene Fahngon spoke on it on the show while doing his intro, that the rice importers have to come down together. They have to find a new way because Senator Sir Joe said, see a need for the rice price to be $15. And if the government do not step in, Senator Sir Joe said will bring rice in the country. And it will be sold for $15. Do you believe it? Yeah, you're going to take him serious, though.
Sir Joseph is a joker. Sir Joseph, I want rice to be cheap, but it is not what I want. Stanton, you're a businessman. Everything in America, the price has gone up. Whether you like it or not, everybody here knows that. Tomali knows that. Fahngon knows that. Keff knows that. You, Stanton, you know that. Everybody knows that. Dr. Richardson, everybody knows that. The price. There is global inflation, Stanton. Food prices, commodity prices all over the world have gone up.
True.
Whether you like it or not, that job we have fought. Their rice, better yet, we're not producing rice in Liberia. The rice is imported from India. 90% of the rice we eat comes from India. There's global supply chain issues, and the war in Ukraine also affected the whole rice market, the global rice market. Whether you like it or not, the price of rice has gone up all over the world. Right here in America, the rice we used to buy, the 25 a pound bag of rice we used to buy for $17 has gone up to what, Stanton? The price has gone up.
Yeah, $11 the same plot. Now it's up.
Thank you. So for Sajida to say he will bring rice for 15, where is he going to find it from? That's why I say he is a joker. Sajida is so desperate. Since I declared I'm running for senator, he's just looking for all kinds of ways to be seen as fighting for the masses. If you really truly care about the rice issue, you should be looking for ways to source money to do mechanized agriculture production, to grow rice in the country on a commercial mechanized scale. But you want to try to make your own government, you're part of the government. You know it's not possible. You're trying to make the government look bad for something you know is not possible. The government does not control the price of rice. Center, rice is imported from India. The Indian government has reduced the amount of rice they even export because they consume rice themselves. Stanton, they've reduced their exports. So the price of rice has gone up all over the world. So what Sir Joseph is saying? You are muted. Sir
Joseph just playing on
the mind. Sir Joseph is playing politics. He's a joker.
That is not true, Stanton.
Real quick, if I gonna take us home, that after you Costa can leave.
I got the story. And
yeah, go ahead.
Inform Costa. Check from today. Go to your calendar and say Fahngon says 60 days. And I know what I'm talking about. I'm putting my reputation, I'm putting my integrity on the line. You heard about the name Armstrong Jabba? They're not going to government anymore. He and Sir Joseph with yellow machines will produce rice within the next 2 years, beginning now. The farms are being
you mean the guy I'll take a picture with the delegation?
Armstrong Jabba, whom the government called.
You got to
declared numerous, as I speak, the farms are in the making right now to produce rice. Secondly,
that's good.
Start to know one thing.
That's good.
Yeah, number two, the rice that is being sold in Liberia, all of it don't come from India. You know, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Sri Lanka produces rice.
90% of our rice comes from India.
That's what the importers told you.
No, that's what the minister. That's the official data.
Look, we know the game. Don't pretend yet. We know the game with these people. Don't pretend. They tell us what they want us to hear. But what we need to know, we don't know until we.
So, Fahngon, are you sitting there and saying the global inflation and supply chain issues have not affected the price of rice? Is that what you're saying?
Affected the price of rice everywhere. And that's why rice that they used to buy for $7 in places like Vietnam, Sri Lanka, and other places went up to about $10, $11. We see there's
nowhere where they sell 50 kg, 25 kg for $10.
That the brother is a joker, then I think you ought to challenge him because it has to do with our stable food to bring the rice. Secondly, yes, you're going to be running for senator, but I can guarantee you, since Sir Joseph's being a senator, I defy anybody to say they cannot see his handprints all around the Capitol or the county Montserrat. His fingerprint, his tire tracks, his machines, his everything.
His private businesses.
The brother is a joker.
His private businesses. Everything he does is money he's made in government, and he's used it to empower and enrich himself. That's all. The school he built. The school he built. You know what, Stanton? You call me for one thing. I'm not going to speak with Sir Joseph Spokesman. They fire him from the government so he can be a face surrogate for Sir. I'm not going to speak with Sir Joseph Spokesman. I will deal with Sir Joseph himself. Fahngon and I'm not running. He is beneath me. I will not speak with Fahngon. Stanton, I will not speak with Sir Joseph Page surrogate.
All right, so we want to say, guys, hold on 1 minute.
You lost your job as the minister to be spokesman for Sir Joseph. Sorry for you.
Guys, let's do the Keff Hassan. Real quick. Keff Hassan. We gotta go. Costa got to leave. If you have your last question, ask him.
I just want to ask Costa a question, but I do agree with Costa on the rice issue. It's a global inflation. He 100% correct. I agree with him. But Costa, let me ask you one question. Something I saw on this trip. As we speak right now, he's the front runner to be vice president. Based on what I see on the trip, as we speak, is Benedict is leading to be the
you are CDC man. It's none of your business who is our VP candidate. I will not discuss it with you.
I just asked you what I'm saying.
I will not discuss it with you, Keff.
Costa, we want to say thank you for joining us, man. Have a good evening. Take care.
Thank you, gentlemen. You all have a lovely evening as well. Bye.
You too. Bye. All right.